sauce. Yeah, I don't even know what it costs. Yeah, I hit the ground and it go off. Yeah, hit the ground and it go off. Yeah, run it. Ooh, I really feel it's my time. Think it's my year.
What's up? Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the morning show. It's the best morning show in finance here on Stock Market TV. Spencer Israel, joined as always by JC Parets and Steve Strazza. Today, we're talking about sector performance as we near the halfway point into the year. We have a nice, handy-dandy little table here of the U.S. sector performance. We're going to talk about that. It's top of mind today. We have a few other things to discuss. We're going to talk chip stocks. AMD, Nvidia, both dropped after the bell yesterday. There's a good reason for that. We'll talk about that. We have some earnings on our radar, some interesting ratings today as well. Our guest, Brett Conrad, managing member at Longboard Capital. He has some good retail charts. He'll be on the show in a half hour from now. Kimmy Sokoloff at 9:15 as always. And that's the show. What's up, everybody? Good morning, everyone in the chat. C. Marie, Eckert, Jason. Somebody wanted to know, Eckert wanted to know, how did JC know which week to go to Avalon? The weather's been terrible since then. It's the curse of JC, man. I don't know what to tell you. All right, smash the like. Let's go. This is the morning show.
All right, not to steal the thunder here or kind of let the cat out of the hat, but the Charles Dolan, big $10 million. We're going to talk about it in the hot corner, but that's a big transaction.
It's going to go right to it, huh?
I know Spencer's already angry at me that I'm going off schedule, but come on, that's a big transaction.
I don't think it's the Charles Dolan. It's Thomas.
How many Charles Dolans are there?
Thomas. It's a different Dolan, man.
Look at the board of directors for that company.
It's all Dolans, right?
There's Dolans.
So hold on. So I graduated from the Dolan School of Business. Did you too, Strazza?
Yes.
Okay, so which Dolan did we graduate from?
I think it's Charles, right?
Is it the one everybody hates?
No, that's James. Guys, this is James.
Dolan. Yes, you're right.
So James Dolan, he's the badass, and he's the one that we graduated from the School of Business, right?
It's probably his dad. He's the current CEO, correct, Spencer? He's a young guy.
James is the owner of the New York Knicks, and
that's the one everybody hates.
Yeah.
Got it. So we didn't graduate from the Dolan School of Business that everybody hates. We graduated from that guy's father. Do I have that right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Got it. So it's the Fairfield University Dolan School of Business, not the guy everybody hates. So that makes me feel better because I kind of always thought that everybody hated the guy that I graduated from his business school.
So they own a lot of stuff. They own the Beacon Theater, radio.
Does Cablevision still exist? Is that still a thing?
That's how they made their money originally. Cablevision.
Right. I only know that because at Fairfield we got free Cablevision.
Right. I don't know if it's still a thing. I think it is. Yeah, up north, people use Cablevision still.
It might be.
You guys would know better than me.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, we'll talk about this insider buy from the Dolan family in a little bit. Let's do state of the markets right now.
Hit it. Well, the state of the markets, I think, is an important topic, and understanding what the state of the markets is, I think, is really important. And I think a lot of investors, most in my experience, a large majority, just completely ignore the type of market environment we're in. They ignore the quote unquote state of the markets, and they just sort of force whatever quote unquote strategy that they have into the market, regardless of what's happening, regardless of how interest rates are affecting stocks, the direction of stocks. You know, a lot of investors, you know, when they're thinking about buying a stock, they completely ignore the direction that the stock is currently going in, right? Like that, in my opinion, should be the first thing that you look at, right? That's the most important thing. You know, you could think this is the greatest company in the world. The stock's going down, you're not going to make any money, right? But if a stock's going up, there's a higher probability outcome that that it's going to continue to go up versus it completely reversing. So let's talk about the state of the markets. Let's zoom out on an equally weighted basis to when the new 52-week lows list peaked last June, so a year ago. And we are now in year 2 of this, and it's just been really a healthy set of rotations over the last year. Consumer discretionary, Strazza, leading the way on an equally weighted basis, up 31% off of the lows. So interesting. They tell me the consumer's dead. The consumer can't afford anything. Recessions, household debt. I mean, just it goes on and on and on. And all of those are cute fairy tales, right? They're adorable, some of them. The reality of the matter, right? The truth, if you will, is that the consumer has never been stronger. In fact, consumer discretionary is doing better than any other sector, right? It is by far and away the best. So it's not tech, it's not Fang Man or MAGA Man or whatever it is that whatever they keep adding letters, right? It's consumer discretionary, right? Those are the leaders. And what do you think? What do you think is getting lost here? Why do investors think it's a bear market? Why do investors think the consumer's dead when casino stocks, cruise lines, home construction just continue to make new 52-week highs every day? What has people so confused? And their perception of reality and actual reality is so far apart. What's the problem here?
Probably reading too much of the news, watching too much TV.
Yeah. Are we being lazy, just blaming the news? Like whenever people are dumb, we just blame the news. Like, is it that simple, you think?
I think it has a lot to do with it. Like I said yesterday, get ready for the headlines to come out that the market is down in the second half. If the indexes, are struggling because big cap tech is struggling, that's going to be the headline. Just like in the first 2 quarters, it was only 5 stocks. They're going to point out any negative.
And that's another thing. Why do people think that it was only 5 stocks? Like, where did that come from, you think?
Go back to the equal weight. What really stands out on this equal weight performance chart from the lows last summer is it's not tech leading. There are 2 sectors that have performed better than tech. And most people would not have guessed that, right? Discretionary and industrials on an equal weight basis have actually been as good or better of a place to be than tech.
Yeah. When people are like, oh, tech is the only one leading the rally, like they're barely in the top 3, right?
Right.
So I think that there's a lot of confusion, which is good, right? I think that's good for the markets. The fact that most investors are so confused, they're not even looking at what the market is doing. They'd rather listen to fairy tales instead of looking at what the market is doing. If they would just look at the market is doing, consumer discretionary up 31% over the last year on an equally weighted basis. So it like completely eliminates the Amazon effect. Why don't you throw up the cap weighted so we could look at these mega cap tech stocks on a cap weighted basis, really leading the way. But industrials right there at number 2, consumer discretionary at number 3, consumer discretionary on a cap weighted basis up 25.5%, on an equally weighted basis up 31%. Communications, materials, healthcare, everything is up. Every single sector is up over the last year. Even financials up almost 10%. Say what you want about financials, also up 10%. So I think that's really interesting. Good perspective on quote unquote the state of the markets. Where are we at? Over the last year, most stocks, the majority of stocks have been going up. Investors have been rewarded for owning stocks over the last year. You can call it a bull market. You can call it a bear market. You can call it a bear market rally. You can call it a bull trap. I mean, people have all kinds of silly names for it. But at the end of the day, have the majority of stocks been going up over the last year? The answer is yes. So what are we betting on moving forward? Are we going to bet that starting today, completely out of nowhere, without any warning at all, stocks are now all of a sudden going to start crashing? Or are stocks just going to continue to trend in the direction that they're going in, which we know historically is by far and away the much higher probability outcome, right? That's the bet that we're making. Forget what we want to call the last year. What happened the last year is that the majority of stocks have been going up, period, right? Period, end of story. So the question is, does that continue? Or does it just completely reverse out of nowhere, totally randomly today? That's just not the bet that I'm going to make. I'm going to bet that rotation continues to come in. Yeah. Sector rotation is the lifeblood of a bull market. We know that. This year, everyone's complaining, oh, it's only the big tech stocks that are doing so well. The other ones are struggling. Last year, it was the big tech stocks are not doing well. Everything else was working last year except for the mega cap growth stocks. Now this year, the mega cap growth stocks are working too well. A month ago we were in a bear market. Now stocks are overbought and you can't chase it. Like, you can't have it both ways, guys.
Yep.
The rotation is the lifeblood of a bull market, and that's precisely what we're seeing. Which brings me to my next point, Mr. Strazza, and I know you don't like it. This is not how Strazza likes to roll. Go to the next. Go to the zoomed in version.
You're both gonna lose money on this. You too, Spencer.
First of all, Spencer owns it. Spencer's the bag holder in Walt Disney, just to be clear, because he bought this before he started hanging out with us, so he would have known better, right, Spencer?
I'm just minding my own business. I don't know why I'm catching strays all of a sudden. I
Getting a little heat. So
minding my own business over here.
the question is, if we talk about the state of the market, sector rotation is the lifeblood of a bull market. You see this piece of hot garbage down near lows,
Yep.
right? Do you just hold your nose and buy it? Right? How many investors over the years have regretted not taking advantage of the opportunity and buying Disney when they had the chance, and go to the long-term the long-term chart? This is where support has come in. This is where it is. So if support's going to come in again, wouldn't this be a logical place for that to happen? Strazza, this is a long-term uptrend. We're down near support. People are really angry. Like, sentiment in Disney I don't remember it ever being this bad. Something about, like, I guess, like, they're woke now or something like that. So it's pissing off the Republicans. Do I have that right? I don't want to, like, misspeak here, but is that the sitch? They got a little too woke?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's the deal. So this is kind of like a Bud Light situation.
Yeah, that's right.
Got it. Okay, I'm asking. I hear things, but I don't know for sure. So that's the reason that people are so angry at the company, and that's why sentiment is so bad, because of, like, some wokeness.
I don't think that's why the stock is struggling. I think
but sentiment.
Yeah, the sentiment is really bad around Disney right now.
Well, I like that. That's a good thing. I think, for somebody looking to put money to work, someone to put the capital to work. I haven't bought it. I don't know if I am. Spencer's like, I've been holding this bag for quite some time now. What do you think, Sean? To me, this seems like a situation where maybe we'd sell some puts. I kind of like that angle. My suspicion is volatility is just not paying enough to do such a thing. Sean, if you want to chime in on that, I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Here's the thing with this one, JC, right? You could get into it fine, but you might be out by next week, right? If this trade doesn't work, it's going to not work like now, probably.
It also gets back to, if your stock's not working in this environment, you probably own the wrong stocks. Like, there's an element of that as well, no?
No, it's amazing. As bad as this chart looks, I just found 5 to 10 charts in the Dow that actually look worse.
3M.
Yeah.
Right. Walgreens. 3M, Walgreens. Let me see if I can think. Is it Cisco or Intel or any of those? Those are pretty shitty.
You could throw Intel in there, and then you got the telecoms, right? Verizon's really ugly right now. I would even say Chevron doesn't look great.
Oh, JC got long Chevron this week. How do we feel about that? You don't like it. Strazza is very upset with the oil and gas space right now.
No.
Speaking of sentiment down in the dumps.
Yeah. Listen, I don't hate it. It's the same trade as Disney to me.
I don't know about.
You're saying a structural uptrend, and you're buying lows.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I won't fight you on that one. People like it when we fight, but you're not wrong on that one.
I don't hate the Chevron trade. I think Oxy's a good vehicle too, like we talked about.
All right.
Point. They're both Buffett's babies.
Two more charts. S&P 500 pushing up against new 52-week highs, right? Close at a new 52-week high 2 Fridays ago on a weekly closing basis. Last week was down. Not something we're used to in this market. Down slightly on the week, and now back up once again, working on finishing up the week on a new 52-week high. Holiday week next week. Monday is a half day for the market. Tuesday's closed. It's so weird. Like, that stuff is kind of like, it just messes with my mojo.
Wait,
you know
what's going on?
Monday, 4th of July. You're leaving to Asia, but the rest of us in America are celebrating Independence Day. So there's this thing called the Declaration of Independence. It was kind of a big deal. A bunch of guys signed it and stuff like that. And, like, it's like the start of a new country, the United States of America. They win a lot of gold medals in the Olympics. It's a thing.
I got nothing to say to this, Spencer.
No, but to his point though, markets are half day on Monday and close on Tuesday, so next week's going to be a light volume week for sure.
Yeah, why do they even do the half days? Let's either do it or not do it.
Because I'll tell you why. Because there's a rule. There's like this old school rule that the stock exchange can't be closed more than 3 days in a row or something like that.
Oh,
it's a thing. There's like a
settlement
thing. It's old school. It's old school. You guys,
yeah,
for your time.
Blockchain fixes this. I don't know what to say.
One more chart in the state of the markets, and this is the industrials, arguably the most important sector in the United States of America.
Sorry.
Since when did this segment become 15 minutes, Spencer?
We're gonna make it fucking 30, all right? And I'm gonna keep going if I feel like it, all right? That's how this works around here. It's a dictatorship here at the state of the market. Sometimes you steal my thunder. Come on, tell me this isn't an important chart. Maybe you didn't like the Walt Disney. Maybe you didn't like the equally weighted. But come on, industrials on a cap-weighted basis, arguably the most important sector in America, pushing them up against new all-time highs. Is that bearish, Mr. Strazza? Is that bearish?
Industrials are just so hot right now. And I think this is great. Show the what? Show the mid-cap industrials. I'm barely listening over here. I'm looking up Budweiser's income statement. Who would have thought that mid-cap industrials would be the
industrials?
First one. They beat tech back there. So this is the first sector index to achieve those all-time highs. I'll stop talking here, JC.
Okay, so Japan, 27% industrials. Nikkei making new 33-year highs.
Yeah.
You got France making all-time highs. France is 23.5% industrials. And, of course, Denmark. Denmark is, I believe, 27% industrials. Last I checked, 26.5% industrials. So the strength that we've seen in this space has been more observable, I guess. It's been easier to see in other parts of the world, which is, another reason why, and Spencer, you're guilty of this as well, because you don't give a damn about French indexes. And a lot of investors like, JC, I live in Texas. I buy American stocks. Even if you don't buy French stocks or Japanese stocks and you don't even know where France is, that's fine. Understanding the drivers of those stock market indexes and why Germany's at all-time highs, why Denmark has been making all-time highs, a lot of healthcare between you and me, but it's another story. It's just understanding what's driving those can help us make decisions here in the States. Even if you don't feel like trading foreign stocks, first of all, I don't know why you wouldn't. Who cares whether Petrobras is in Brazil or Ohio, right? What's the difference? Alibaba could be Chinese or from California. Who cares? If line go up, we make money, right? So that's how I look at it. So industrials here in the United States getting close to new all-time highs. Strazza, I hate to give you any credit at all. You know how much I hate giving you credit. But the mid-cap industrial chart was very hot, right? Like it's the Hansel of mid-cap charts, right? So hot right now.
Listen, it looks great. And I think that this is now a roadmap for what you can expect a lot of the other ones to look like in the coming weeks and months, right? Some other things that stand out in this table are, damn close healthcare is still to those all-time highs.
Why don't you explain what this table is? These are U.S. industry group performance, right? Or are these sectors? These are sectors.
So we're just doing the sectors here. We'll do the industry groups tomorrow. So
these are cap-weighted, equally weighted, mid-caps.
And small.
For each sector.
We use the ETFs when we can. We don't have ETFs for mid-caps, so we use the actual indexes themselves, right? But we're looking at all of the sectors all along the cap scale in this table. It's sorted by who's closest to all-time highs. So that's why you see industrials up at the top there, tech. But I thought it was really interesting to see some of these defensive groups. And that's really just because they haven't gone anywhere. But they're all right there.
Hold on. Can we talk about how the top four are all industrials, mid-cap industrials, equally weighted industrials, small cap industrials, and cap-weighted large cap industrials? 1 through 4. On the list of sectors. I mean, come on, man.
I really think industrials is the place to be right now. It has been, but I think it still is. I really think it's just getting started. Beneath the surface, everything just looks so good. I think our buddy Larry put out a chart today. I was looking at the sector breadth yesterday, Grant and I. But Larry put out a chart showing percentage of industrial stocks above the 20-day, 50-day, 200-day. And we haven't been up here in a while, 80, 90%. of the components above all their major moving averages. Things are good in this space right now.
It's a great table. It's a great table.
Down the cap scale too, right? We could get into the smalls and the mid cap names. A lot of strength there in industrials too.
Yeah, I like it.
For the record, I don't not care about like France and Germany. I do care.
I don't think you
the
care.
American.
No, that's not true. I definitely do care about.
I don't know. I think you need to prove it to me.
You're telling me what I don't care about?
That's right. I'm telling you what I've observed that you don't care about. You want to talk about Tesla. You want to talk about stocks that are in the news. You don't give a damn about Peru. That's what I've observed. And it's up to you in the coming months to prove me wrong. If that's something that you're interested in doing and proving me wrong.
Hey,
I was talking about Louis Vuitton and Motor Hennessy like months ago.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think you care.
Let's address some stuff from the chat.
Whatever. Sure. Fine. What's up?
Why, you don't want to? Somebody made a comment about Budweiser and them like potentially not making money this year. Budweiser makes a lot of money. They're going to keep making a lot of money.
Come on. Who said that? Come on.
I'm just clarifying.
It's about Budweiser, European stock.
No. Oh, it was, will Budweiser have a loss this quarter? I think he's being facetious there.
Okay. Yeah. I was just looking at their income statement. Budweiser's not going to have a loss. No.
How many of these Americans protesting still think Budweiser's an American stock?
Listen, it's an American brand. I don't want.
Yeah, Budweiser is an American brand. Anheuser-Busch is a international.
And who owns Budweiser there, Mr. Spencer?
Right.
It's Belgian.
European stock.
Hey, listen, I want the Belgians to own the beer. They do a better job than we do. How's that for us?
Wow, people in Colorado are going to be very angry with you, and the people like in Portland and shit. You know, these brouhahas.
Yeah, I'm not into the craft beer scene either. It's not for me.
It's too hoppy.
Ugh. No.
It's a lot. Drink some rosé.
I agree. We have a hops problem in this country. Okay, let's do some what's moving, and then maybe we'll run that into our guest or maybe
hit
not.
it.
We'll see. We need to start with the chip stocks here. AMD, Nvidia. If you're watching them after hours, as I was yesterday, you were seeing, holy crap, these things are really going down. WSJ reporting that the Biden administration is considering new restrictions on exports of AI chips to China.
Dude.
So limiting the amount or even the ability that companies like Nvidia and AMD and others have to export their AI chips to China, and that was hitting the entire space after the close yesterday. Let's see, Nvidia got down. How far did it get down? It got down to 3.
It got back down to where it was the day before.
All right.
No, what? No, it got down to where it was like a week ago.
Nvidia was up 3% yesterday. It's down 3% pre-market. It's back to where it was on Tuesday morning.
Hold on. I'm interested in this. Where's this article?
Wall Street Journal. You want me to like send it to you?
Yeah, ping it over. So last week, we got to get used to this. This is going to be a thing for years to come. Last week, we had news that TikTok's parent company, ByteDance, literally bought $1 billion worth of Nvidia's GPUs. This is now the industry standard. So everybody all around the world, even the companies we don't like TikTok, are going to be buying these chips.
Who's we? You don't like TikTok, or the government doesn't like TikTok?
The government hates TikTok.
They think that the Chinese are spying on us?
Yeah, they probably are. Yeah,
I just want it to be known that Nvidia got to 396 in the overnight here, which is the lowest it's been in like 2 weeks.
Let it be known.
Let it
be known.
Let it be known.
Well, it's down 3% pre-market, and it was up 3% yesterday. So let's call it a wash. No?
Yeah, listen, they're going to be okay, but they kind of have a target on their back from regulators now, right?
Let it be known. Let it be known. Spencer, how much time a day do you spend on TikTok?
0. I've never. I don't have a TikTok.
I find that hard to believe.
Morning show needs.
Do you want me to show you my phone? I don't have TikTok.
I don't know. I find that hard to believe.
I've been on it for work reasons, but I don't have a personal. I'm much more of a YouTube Shorts guy, which is the same thing. Let's be honest, it's the same goddamn thing.
You're supposed to be like our social media expert, and you don't even have a TikTok.
You don't even have a TikTok account. What's the matter with you?
You better get one.
Kind of half-ass social media expert are you, Spencer?
I got problems.
This is
All right. AMD.
Let it be known. Let it be known that this is bullshit.
Look at Sean getting into politics in the chat here. Sean's pumped up.
Sean's getting ready for Asia.
Yeah.
Wait, here's the Nvidia chart. Did we even bring this up earlier? I was looking at other things.
Listen,
okay.
it's in an uptrend. It's halfway to its target.
Nothing to do here, though.
Nothing to do here. Yeah, nothing to do here. Line go up. It's down 3% pre-market. It was up 3% yesterday. It's a wash.
All right.
And AMD, same sitch, right? Same exact thing with the AMD. AMD, yeah, exactly the same. AMD was up 2.7% yesterday, and it is now down 2.7% pre-market.
This next thing is just more of a public service announcement to keep an eye on the banks tonight and the rest of the week. Does anyone know? Actually, I know that Steve knows what tonight is. I bet you Steve knows what.
Are they doing another one of these stress tests? Are they very stressed out?
JC likes to pretend he doesn't read the news, and yet he always seems to know the answer to my questions.
Because I hang out with Strazza, who's a news junkie.
All right, yeah. The Fed is announcing the results of their annual stress test tonight, and the only reason that's significant is because they don't let these banks announce their plans for dividends and buybacks until after the stress tests are over. So very likely we're going to see headlines tonight, tomorrow, whatever. All the major banks raising their dividend and announcing new buybacks, right? Because that's what it happens every year at this time. So, and then there's always like the off chance that a random mid-sized bank will fail the stress test, or not mid-sized bank. They don't stress test on mid-sized, but you know what I mean. There's always, a few years ago, I think Wells Fargo had to like resubmit, right? They failed the first time. Yep. So just keep an eye out for that.
So you're absolutely right. We get movement off the stress test results due to the shareholder return information that comes out of that, right? Investors realize.
And how long does this stress test take? Is it like a one-day thing? Is it just like a 5-minute thing? Does it take weeks? How does this work?
It's like a big simulation. There's a lot of math behind it. Yeah.
And is it like, do they just press a button and run the numbers and get a result, or is it a process?
Well, it's a different test every year.
It's called scenario analysis, right? They change different variables about what if interest rates are here, what if stocks do this, what if real estate does that, and then they literally stress test the balance sheet and all the accounts for it. But anyway, my point was going to be that I don't think we're getting as much movement as we used to based on these stress tests, because 5-10 years ago it was a situation of like they weren't in a great capital position, right? These banks, and we really needed to see the stress test to see like, are they under enough? Can they pay a dividend? I think they're pretty much all okay these days, at least the major banks. I don't think you're going to see like failed stress tests anymore.
Yeah. These banks are you're probably right. But again, watch out for dividend and buyback headlines tonight, tomorrow morning. With regards to the banks, we did have one earning. Let's do that right now, real quick before our guests. We have one earnings to talk about.
What do we got? Micron? Tomorrow?
No, that's tonight. Food, General Mills, GIS, reporting before the bell here this morning. EPS beat, sales missed. They did raise their quarterly dividend from 54 cents per share to 59 cents per share. They also gave some good guidance, organic net sales guidance. They raised that. And I haven't looked at the stock this morning, but here's a more relevant. It's getting hit?
Yeah.
Okay. Hard.
All right.
You want to buy this thing back at those 2016 highs, and maybe we get there today, tomorrow, the next day. Looks like.
Yeah, this thing's down 5.5% pre-market. General Mills. I mean, listen, these food companies were doing real well for quite some time. They kept popping up on scans, and now it's just struggle city, huh? Nobody wants consumer staples.
That's right. You don't want. This is not the pond to fish in right now, as investors are moving out on the risk curve. Buying more and more offensive, more and more risk on groups. You don't want to be out here buying the risk off groups. The rotation is moving against you.
I'm just looking up the full list of General Mills brands right now. They own a lot of stuff. A lot.
Rattle off a few just to give some folks some
Well,
perspective.
they own like Cheerios, right?
Cereal.
Yeah, they're a big cereal, but they also own like Bisquick and like Betty Crocker,
Okay.
Annie's.
They just kill people as a business model.
Yeah,
All these
basically.
staples companies.
Yeah,
All terrible food.
yeah. It's they're all
Killing people is a good business, I guess. Huh?
Nature Valley. They own Pillsbury. They own Yoplait. You know, they got a lot of stuff there. Anyway, all right.
Hey, I think that staple stocks are in a similar position as even some of these really, really big tech names like Apple and Microsoft. Like people were probably in that as defensive, and because it was working, I think staples were similar. They were defensive and they were working all year. It just makes them easy targets for profit taking, I think.
Sure.
Can I just talk about how excited I am to have Brett Conrad on the show? This guy was the president of Lululemon right at the beginning, 03 to 06, I believe. Started the first stores in the United States. I mean, you know, to get his perspective on retailers, and I'm going to ask about restaurant stocks. He's more on like, you know, clothing and retail, and I know he's going to bring that, but some of these restaurant stocks are ripping. I want to hear his thoughts on that.
Well, he sent us some charts. I don't know if any of them are restaurants.
They're not, but I'm going to ask him anyway.
All right.
Let's
Brett
go.
Conrad, managing member of Longboard Capital. Let's get him on the show.
Jay, we've been friends for a long time. Make the call.
I mean, this is pretty professional, guys.
Nice show you got going here.
Mr. Conrad.
Hey, good
Brett.
morning.
How's it going, my man?
Good. It's kind of early here. I'm in Utah. I'm in actually Salt Lake City today. I'm staying at my daughter's house. We're on our way up to Driggs, Idaho. She's got her and her fiance have a house up there. So,
Are you flying yourself up there?
no, we are taking the RV this time.
Oh, wow. Old school.
No.
See, because Brett likes to fly himself around places. He's
Yes,
Not for me.
I do. I've got a Cirrus, so I love doing that. It's a great way to get around the U.S. Southwest here.
I guess, bro. You're a better man than I am. There's zero chance that I would ever trust myself flying an airplane. You know, I'm pretty sure Strazza's in my camp.
It's pretty fun.
With you. Yeah, no.
There's zero chance.
Yeah, it's really fun. Get around quick. We can get to LA in 2 hours. So
That's
Boy.
awesome.
from here,
Yeah, but then you have to be in LA. Like nobody wants that. You know?
That's true. That's true. See my
Listen,
dad
Brett.
in San Diego. It's not.
So
bad.
let me tell you something about Brett Conrad. You know, he might be like Mr. Retail, you know, clothing guy and all this stuff, but Brett Conrad is a DL biotech junkie, right? So don't let him fool you with his retail expertise. He's always digging in these right? Am I wrong?
No, you're totally right. I don't know why I kind of got into little healthcare tech, probably about 10 years ago, and still in it, and actually riding Harrow Health. I don't know if anyone's familiar with that, HROW. That one we got that at like $140, and it's trading around 18 now, but it popped to 28. But being that I think that one goes to 100 actually in the next probably 4 or 5 years.
All right, Harrow Health. We'll keep an eye on that. But listen, we brought you here for a reason. Talk about retailers.
Yeah.
You know, why don't you tell us a little bit about maybe, you know, what you learned in the early days of Lululemon, you know, what those experiences, you know, sort of taught you and how you've been able to use that moving forward and sort of the current state of that group today.
Sure. Well, I think a lot of it really is this interesting concept I came up with, you know, brand intensity. So, you know, you look at brand rankings for a lot of companies and there's like, you know, Coca-Cola shows up on there and, you know, Pepsi and, you know, McDonald's and all this stuff. But in reality, brands can be very small, but be very intense, like an intense fire, right? That's going to turn into a wildfire. And it's when customers are talking about this brand a lot. You know, I owned one of the first Tesla Model S's, for instance. And, you know, when I was driving that around, that was 2012. I was driving that around and I was like the only guy on the road that had it. I'd have kids coming up to me, you know, in our neighborhood and just like wanting to look at it, wanting to get in. There's so much interest. You could just tell this brand was like ready to explode.
And this is what year?
2012.
Whoa, so super early. So
yeah,
you were
my
getting,
VIN number was like
time.
1900. I had the, you know, now they make like, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of these a quarter vehicles.
Do you still drive a Tesla?
I don't right now because we moved out here, but I've got a Cybertruck on. I'm reserved on a Cybertruck, and I think that's going to be huge.
And this is a Tesla Cybertruck. Excuse my
Yeah.
ignorance. Got it. Because
Yes.
there's all these EV companies. I lose track.
True. So I think that one's going to create a lot of attention as well. And I like Tesla because they've got this new robot out, and I think in about 4 or 5 years, you're going to be able to get a robot. Maybe it'll take 10, but you're going to be able to get this robot. It'll do all your domestic duties in the house. Literally, they've got all this object recognition they've been developing for the vehicles. And this robot will be able to clean your toilet and, clean your dishes, make food, the whole bit.
I can't wait. I'll pre-order it now.
Yeah.
Sounds expensive.
Brett, do you see anybody coming in and competing with Tesla? I'm not talking about the robot market, specifically just the EV market. Like, because everybody's going to try to, and what do you think? Are they going to be able to?
That's the challenge. I think long term, I was a little concerned when they had to drop price. I was, thinking about that. At the end of the day, these things get pretty commoditized, like current internal combustion vehicles.
Sure.
I don't think electric cars will be at all immune to that kind of competitive pressure. Yeah. Now, what we saw early on was, Tesla got to be the focused dominant player in EV, and they still are. And that was so if you kind of thought towards and still think towards that, maybe 50% of the cars sold within just a few years now will be EVs.
Yep.
And Tesla's got the #1 position in that. There's still a lot of market share for them to take in the ICE market, in the internal combustion engine market. So taking from Ford and GM and whatnot. So I think especially in this truck segment, which is the massive truck segment in the US, we'll see if these Cybertrucks take off and we could have another leg up.
And how much do you think of like their valuation, right? Because the stock is not priced for the amount of Teslas I see on the road now. The stock is priced today for a hell of a lot more Teslas being on the road in the future. So is there going to be like, I worry that that'll be tough for them to grow into if that doesn't happen. Like they almost need to be the iPhone of cars.
Exactly. And what you kind of wonder what they're going to utilize this customer base for, including this robot for the house, but are they going to be able to just keep coming up with new products? And the guys I've talked to are thinking that the big upside here is everybody turns on their full self-driving, which is, $15,000 a pop, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how many people will do that, but it's, if the car can really operate on its own, which I think we're still a few years off, that could be a viable option. But I don't know if just 10% of the people will opt for paying $15,000 more as an add-on.
Sean always makes that point. Like they have a massive subscription revenue business potentially.
Yeah, they do, because they'll instead of paying $15,000 up front, you're going to be able to pay $100 or $200 a month, right?
Hold on, can we talk about retailers? Enough with the Tesla.
Sorry, Strazza got me totally off base here.
You guys watching? You guys think me and Strazza are nerds? Like Brett Conrad is right up in there in their levels of nerdness. So you get them going on EV, forget about it. Brett, talk to me. So I was looking at these charts of these on holdings, right?
Yes.
All our customers started making fun of me because I didn't know anything about it. This is months back, and everyone's like, JC, you got to get the shoes. You got to get the shoes. I said, all right, I'll buy the shoes. So I get the shoes, and my wife's like, why'd you buy these shoes? You don't need another pair of shoes. And I was like, well, I was talking with customers, and they started making fun of me, so I bought them. And then and she's like, well, are they comfortable? I was like, actually, yeah, they're pretty comfortable. She's like, okay, I'm gonna buy a pair. So now my wife is just running around wearing these shoes, showing them off. She's getting compliments. You know what I mean? So like we're a family of on holdings, a new family of on. So why don't you tell me what's going on here? Is it a Swiss company? Sweet.
Yeah, they're Swiss. Their big kind of athlete out of the box here is Roger Federer. He's retired now, so he's been able to essentially, stop his Nike contract. And, it's interesting. My brother introduced me to these guys a few years back. And he also invested pre-IPO. We're in it now. And it was just a great opportunity, right? Because the IPO price, like everything else, actually in this kind of like time frame, late 2021, if you did an IPO, forget it. You're dead in the water. So that's what happened here, and why the stock came down so much. But you're right, like the brand intensity here is wild. I see everybody wearing these things, and they're so comfortable. They're light. I think their clothing has got the potential to blow up as well, if they can do that just as well as the shoes.
Because they don't have any clothing right now. They don't have any clothing. They don't have any clothing.
They do, but it's in nascent state, and they don't really have any stores yet. So they've hired a bunch of Lululemon people that we know to go help them start to roll out Lululemon stores, in Europe and the US. So that's going to be a big growth leg for them.
So they're going to be in the Lulu stores?
No, sorry. They've hired Lululemon people.
So to have their own stores.
Correct.
Yeah. Got it.
Yeah. So that's a difficult. A lot of companies have a difficult time with the people management, because it's thousands of people when you start opening stores. I think Lululemon's got like 40 or 50,000 employees right now. So for On to start opening stores, it's a heavy lift if you don't really understand retail, right? And how to manage all the people, the employees. So I think they're hiring the right experts in the right places. I've heard they're internally having to throttle growth because they're not organized enough. They've been growing at like 70% year over year. So this is a potentially next Lululemon type stock, and they're, I think, around 8-9 billion in market cap, and I think
it's a bold statement there, Brett.
Yeah.
Next Lululemon type stocks, a little aggressive, no?
Yeah, a little aggressive, but they've got all the components, right? They've got to deliver on the apparel. So we'll see if they do that.
Can you tell me what the hell's going on with Deckers? Like, seriously, who wears this stuff?
It's Uggs.
I don't know anybody who wears Deckers.
It's Uggs.
Yeah, well, basically, you see these ugly,
okay.
It's Uggs, but more importantly, it's this Hoka brand that's got the huge cushion.
Trendy.
Is it like Skechers, like for older folks, like with like, is like one of those things, or no, not at all?
It's like the UFOs, but for shoes, I think, right? It's all about
awesome, man. Yeah. UFOs are the real deal.
Maybe I don't know. I've never heard of them.
You don't know the UFOs?
No.
Look at me teaching you things. Look at that. Come on. UFOs, guys. Check them out.
All right. If you could only buy one of these two pairs, though, Brett, you get the Hoka or the On. Which is it?
On for me. I don't own Hokas, but I'm telling you, my son-in-law, who's only 29, or soon to be son-in-law, he's got a couple Hokas right here on the shelf right beside me. So they're anyone with knee problems, anyone that's I know doctors are just telling people to wear these left and right. Even my wife, her doctor told her to wear them.
Talk about a catalyst.
Anyone with knee problems, anyone with foot problems, the aging population, the young kids, everyone's got some kind of deal going on, and they all wear those. But I'm telling you, On's got a thick pair too, and it's kind of like going to maybe commoditize, right? Like where all the companies are getting their own 3-inch cushioning.
They already are. I'm seeing it with golf shoes all over the place, sandals, everything. Yeah.
And then what's up with Vans? Vans going out of business? What's the story there?
This is the interesting thing with Vans. No, and this is what I love about really great brands getting beat up a lot, and people kind of like think that the brand value goes out the window. Companies having problems, obviously. I have Alex Hinault. I don't know if you know. got a picture there, barely hanging on. It's like been the stock, right? For the last couple of years here. It's just fallen over, holding on for dear life. But Alex is one of their athletes that works for North Face, and that's one of their brands as well. So it's kind of a weird mix of brands in a way. VF, they own Timberland as well.
And they own JanSport, Supreme. They own quite a bit of stuff, huh? Dickies.
Yeah, JanSport's a big brand globally. So
they still make backpacks. Do kids still wear those?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, and those kind of come and go. They're cyclical, but Depends on the year. I think now it's what Fjallraven. I don't know if you know this brand from I think Sweden. They're that a lot of kids are wearing that backpack now. So
I saw that store this weekend. I was at the Mall of America, and I never heard of it before, but now I have. And also, I've had a JanSport for like 20 years. Those things are durable as hell.
Yeah. But anyway, Vans has a new CEO as just, I think, a week ago, Bracken Darrell. So he kind of has a backwards name, but his first name is Bracken. His last name is Darrell. Came from Logitech. So I think those are really key points sometimes for looking for turnarounds in these companies. And this pays about a 9.5% dividend. But you can see their book value per share has been coming down. So they've been overpaying on the dividend. They might have to cut that back. But you might get paid to wait, or you can see if it kind of starts getting out of this kind of downward channel.
Last question, Brett. The Fun Police is here to kick you out to bring in
Okay,
Kimmy.
sorry.
But
quickly, I know I've been talking too much.
Under Armour. Throw up the chart there, Fonz, on slide 1. Under Armour. We're getting some questions on the chat. Whatever happened to Under Armour? That's a great question.
I love
what happened to Under Armour.
I love Under Armour's clothes.
All
it was
right.
just at the outlet this weekend.
I have a theory on this.
Throw the chart up. Look at this.
That actually my brother also agrees. So Under Armour, in a way, they're not good at merchandising clothing. I think their logos are too big. Like they just and they put them in really predominant places.
Yeah.
And they need to just get more subtle, but they don't understand how to do it.
See, is that really the problem though, Brett? You think people
because Lulu was super subtle.
Yeah, but here's the problem with the logo is sometimes the people want it, and then all of a sudden that changes and they don't want it. And how do you navigate when that happens? Like, is it really about the logo? I think
they want the Louis Vuitton and the Hermes logo. They don't want the Under Armour logo.
Under Armour is
right?
Cool now.
They want the Gucci logo.
Yeah,
Gucci name.
Not cool. Yeah, and that's been their problem. They did such a great job coming into the athletic apparel market by attacking those base layers, just like Sam was saying here on the chat. But then they kind of blew up the logos. It's happened to Nike actually. I think it was like in the late 80s where they put giant Nike things on everything, and all of a sudden it became uncool. And Under Armour hasn't realized that they keep doing that, and it's just not cool. So people don't buy it.
Brett knows cool.
What?
Brett knows cool.
Sorry, Strazza.
I was wearing my Under Armour shirt yesterday.
Strazza's not cool. Strazza's not cool at all.
All right, Brett Conrad.
What are we buying? Give us a stock. What are we buying right now? Give it to me.
What are we what?
What are we buying? Give me a retail.
On for sure. On.
All right.
He likes the cases.
On.
ON. Deal.
Yeah.
All right, Brett, you're the man.
Okay.
Thanks,
Talk to you guys later.
Have a good one. Brett Conrad, managing member, Longboard Capital. It is that time. Let's see what's on Kimmy's watch list right now. Kimmy, do you have any retail takes for us?
I mean, I traded Nike. I think Nike reports tomorrow. I traded it pre-earnings, so that was a nice little trade the other day.
Carvana not retail? Is that not considered retail?
What
Carvana?
Is?
What?
Oh, is it? I guess so.
No.
I mean, we traded it once. I'm gonna watch it. We got Powell at 9:30.
Powell speaks again.
That's right. I've neglected to mention this so far, but yes, in 10 minutes, Jerome Powell was set to speak at some ECB thing.
Do they have nothing else to do? I mean, I feel like they're just always talking. Like, don't they have hobbies?
There's a couple more There's more Fed speakers too. So, thanks, Jason. That was sweet. What's that called? So, he speaks at 9:30. I don't know. These semis are getting hit because what Biden said last night. They bounced yesterday, Nvidia and all of them, and now they're back down. I'll see how, it's going to be a lot of news driven, so you get whips and saws. So if I do try to short Nvidia, it will be small to see if it drops down to 396. But of course, it has to break 400. I'd like it to stay below, let's say, like 407 for a potential move down to 396. But, we have these names are volatile. People have a tendency to want to keep buying them. So
Kimmy Sokoloff, 6 for 8 yesterday, making money long Nike, Valero, Morgan Stanley, Goldman, shorted Netflix profitably, and bought Snow. 2 losses on Amazon and UNH, but 6 for 8, Kimmy, solid.
Well, Amazon, what happened is that some people in the room caught this short. What happened was it came within 5 cents of my target and then it bounced. So name of the game. And I waited, I gave it some time. I said, forget it. It's going to go up. So just covered it. When try talking and trading and giving ideas, it's really hard. And so you miss your own stuff. So I saw it go down, but I didn't see it go enough. And then it bounced and you just miss stuff. It makes it more difficult, but that's the name of the game, right? So I sometimes miss my own covers or trades. I'm like, oh, okay, hang on a second, because I'm watching other names for the room. So that's what happens.
Walk me through this Carvana trade. What are you looking at specifically? Talk to me about what you would think.
Let's see how it handles this. Let's see. Listen, these are aggressive names. It's not a name I'm about to like fall in love with or whatever it is. We did trade it back in early June for the nice little pop going on that, kind of a run up. I'll see how it handles this 24 area. This 24 area, see if it can move back up to 2580 and maybe we get a push there, maybe back into the 28 zone.
You think this one can really get going and start making new highs and push into the 30s? That's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at that support around 21 or so, 2021.
I mean, look at like a weekly chart on this thing. I mean, the thing's been like,
it's got some catching up to do.
Yeah, I mean, it looks, hasn't moved in a while. I mean, obviously it's really beaten down name, right? I mean, look at it on a weekly chart. I mean, it's, this name was as high as 376.
Is the short interest still super high? Because coming into the year, this is one of the highest short interests.
Yeah, I don't know. Is it still super high? I'm sure it is.
It is percentage. Holy crap. It's 70% of the float is short.
We talked about this yesterday. Yeah.
70%?
Is it still?
Yeah, it's high.
Wow.
I know. So what do we do with, like you have Powell speaking right at 9:30. I mean, couldn't he come in at like 2 in the afternoon? Because
Kimmy, it is 2 in the afternoon in Europe. That's the pro.
That's right. That's right. He is in Europe. That's right.
All right.
But it's like, well, could he come in later?
Look who cares about Europe there, Spencer. Shout out Europe.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Hey, listen, Kimmy Sokoloff is a professional day trader with 25 years of experience. She live trades the open every single day in her room where she's announcing her trades and talking ideas. And if you want to get into that room, it is a premium service. There are 3 ways to get in. You can either scan the QR code on the screen, but if you're on your phone, you obviously can't scan the code if you're watching on your phone right now. So there's 2 links. There's a link in the chat. There's also a link at the very top of the description on this YouTube video. Check it out. Kimmy's page is right there. She's there every single day in her room. Kimmy, not good luck today. Not good luck today because luck isn't a part of this, but go make some money and we'll talk to you later.
You're welcome, Nick. Bye, guys. Have a good one. See ya.
All right. Man, we ran so quickly into from Brett to Kimmy. Did you guys want to talk about any of Brett's takes at all? Or
well, I listen. I always like his perspective. He's a thinker, and Brett is an investor for a long time, a professional investor. I like how he just calls me randomly, and he's like, "JC, what's up? What are you looking at?" Howard Lindzen does that too. Brett, I feel like they, that's smart. I feel like more investors should do that. They should just sit on their porch and just start calling people, being like, "Hey, what are you looking at? What are you doing?" I don't do that enough. I do it sometimes. I don't do it enough. Lindzen is really good at that, and so is Brett Conrad. So I appreciate that. Brett, anytime you call me, I'll answer the phone, and if not, I'll call you back, obviously. Lindzen, I'll answer the phone sometimes. Depends on what kind of mood I'm in. I want to talk about Carvana there quickly, though. Put up slide 1 there. One of the things I love about Kimmy is the multiple time frame sort of perspective that we bring to the table. The day trade, she put on 8 trades yesterday, 6 for 8. I think she was 5 for 6 the day before, absolutely crushing it. And while she's looking for a day trade in Carvana this morning, the idea flow that Kimmy brings to the table, whether you're trading it intraday or you're zooming out a little bit more like me, I like to do both. In this case, I'm more interested in the in not the day trade. I'm actually more interested, right? So I'm kind of going against Kimmy. I'm like, Kimmy's too short term in this particular trade, in my opinion, at least from my perspective and my portfolio. I'm looking bigger picture here. Which is great from Kimmy's idea flow. So, guys, if you are not already in Kimmy's room, highly encourage you to do so. Spencer, drop the link for people. I mean, she is absolutely 6 for 8 yesterday, and she's complaining, which is hilarious. But what do you think here, Strazza? Huge short interest, man, against that 20 level. You could see the high 50s again, getting back to last August highs. What do you think?
Listen, you could buy it against 20, but I won't be.
Why?
It's a ticking time bomb, this company. I really, truly believe that. And I didn't love what I saw this weekend. I know that's not.
Tell the folks what you saw. Tell the folks what you saw.
I saw a handful of empty, absolutely empty, not a single car in them, Carvana car towers. And these towers were booming, 3, 4, 5 years ago. I remember saying to you, JC, they got these towers on the Florida Turnpike filled with cars. They're empty now.
And then so you drove from Key West to Miami and then back from Miami to Key West. So where along the road?
I went all the way up to Sunrise. So I saw
North Miami.
3 of them. Yeah, right. Okay. I think I saw 3 of them along the way. 2 were empty. 1 was not.
And where? Where were they?
I don't know what towns, but they're
like in Homestead, Florida City. No, is it further down in the Keys?
Up a little bit. They're around Miami. They're right around Miami, all of them.
Got it.
But it's between Homestead and North Miami. There's 3 of them.
Got it. Understood. Cool. I mean, listen, heavy short interest. Clearly, everyone agrees with you that this company is a real piece of shit, which is fine with me, right? Like, I don't care. Let it go to 0. But why can't it go to 50 first and then go to 0?
Yeah. No, you're not wrong at all. And it looks like it will. This is a completed base, right? This is similar to the bases we're talking about, a little bit smaller in nature. We're talking about the year-to-date highs, not the August highs, but I think the August highs are a really good target. And what's that? Almost a triple. So
for the record, if we're above 20, you would agree you cannot be short.
No, don't. I wouldn't short anything with a 50% short interest ever.
All right. And this is one of those things where just because it has a high short interest doesn't mean we want to buy it. In fact, we make the point on this show quite often that it's got a high short interest for a reason. Strazza is literally driving down the highway, seeing these empty vending machines of cars. So they're just taking up space and costing money. So everybody knows it's a piece of hot garbage, but that doesn't mean that we can't have a nice trade, which is all we're interested in. We don't care about the company. We don't care about the CEO or its employees. None of that is our problem. We just want to sell things at higher prices than where we buy them. And if these shorts can get squeezed, it's a nice trade.
Financial freedom in the chat says empty towers in Denver too. So
yeah, it's happening. What do they do with them is what I was wondering while I was driving and listening to Russia Coup live on Twitter Spaces. I'm sitting there thinking, what do they do with these things? Because they're too small to be parking garages. They're all glass, see-through everywhere.
I hope they keep them up as a memorial.
It's like a relic. It's like a relic. Yeah. It's like a memorial to like, hey, this was a terrible idea. Don't forget what a bad idea this was, everybody.
Do maybe the car dealerships in Miami come together and like fill them out and use it like for some sort of advertising? I don't see that happening.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe.
There's a lot.
Sounds like expensive advertising.
Yeah. Yes. Right on the highway like that. I don't know. It's interesting. Listen, interesting concept. Good for them for doing this and trying this. I think.
Yeah, you could turn them into like paintball courses, and you could just like run around and shoot each other. Like that'd be cool.
Maybe some sort of like crazy like maze for like what's the game with you shoot the laser tag.
Laser tag. Oh wait, why don't they just put ads on the glass? Oh my gosh, the easy way to make money.
Yeah,
just put
a nice
ad business, shitty business.
Cover the glass with ads. All right, it's 9:30 in a couple seconds here. We're about to open. Watch out for Powell here. Let's do some hot corner. Let's talk about this big Dolan family buy from yesterday.
Finally.
Hot corner. So hot right now.
So let's just start with a little bit of background. Why is JC so excited about this particular purchase?
Because it's $10 million.
All right, that's a better reason than what I was about to say. So the Dolan family, though, this is the family that owns the New York Knicks, New York Rangers, MSG, Madison Square Garden, all these different things. Arguably, Spencer, correct me if I'm wrong, arguably the worst owners in sports.
Top 5. No doubt they're top 5.
Like JC mentioned, absolutely hated. We have the Charles Oakley thing that really drove a lot of Knicks fans crazy a few years ago. Now we have the
what happened with Charles Oakley?
Well, they kicked him out of the arena. Dolan
yeah,
literally had security try to remove him. Ridiculous. This is Charles Oakley I'm talking about. Okay, Nick, great. Then they're doing the face recognition thing with anybody, right? Isn't that them?
Yeah, if you worked for a law firm that was suing him, then you got the boot or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So just some real genuine assholes here. $10 million purchase though, definitely stands out. MSG split off.
I was gonna say, can you explain to me the difference between MSGE and MSGS?
I can. So MSGS is the holding company that owns the sports teams. Now, Knicks and Rangers.
So this is not what they bought.
No.
He was buying MSGE, which owns the arenas and the stadiums, and also like Beacon Theater, Radio City Music Hall, and then the television rights. So you see that a lot where they'll separate those things. So he was buying shares in the television rights company, MSGE. $10 million purchase, not bad. We don't have much price memory here. JC, you seem to love trading these IPOs or things with no price memory. So maybe you have a level on this one, but there's not.
First of all, love trading these things is a little aggressive. I wouldn't say that. I am open-minded to trading new issues, much more so than the two of you fellas. I wouldn't say that I love trading them. I certainly don't love trading hot messes like this. And another thing I was going to ask. $10 million sounds like a lot, and it is a lot, but is it for these guys? How rich are they?
No, it's not a lot for them. No. I don't know.
It stands out as a big number, but for these guys, it's a drop in the bucket.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is not James Dolan. It's just another Dolan who has had like executive positions at different subsidiary companies. He's a director of the board. It's a big purchase, right? You don't want to really overthink, how much money do they have? He bought $10 million of stock on the open market. He didn't do that because he thinks the stock price is going to go down.
Maybe he knows that the Knicks are about to make a big time trade. Maybe. I don't know.
No, is it? How bad is? I was
probably not.
Unlikely.
I was complaining to Spencer just last week because I'm looking at the NBA draft and I'm thinking, like, how do they mess everything up? They didn't have a single draft pick. They traded every single one. I don't like. How can you be so bad? I don't know. It's a problem.
He drafted a Mexican dude. How many Mexican dudes are in the NBA? How many Mexicans?
Oh wait, there was that one guy. Wasn't Carlos? Oh shoot, what was his name?
I think you're just being racist. I think he was.
No, I'm not.
Carlos Arroyo.
You know what I was really pulling for? I was really hoping that Jordan Hawkins of UConn, national championship, right, would get drafted by the Heat. I was really hoping for that. It was close, but
Carlos Arroyo, very good, JC.
Carlos Arroyo, not Mexican.
All right,
he's a baseball player, guys. He's a baseball.
Just being
no, he's not. No, he's not.
Spencer thinks everything south of New Jersey is Mexican.
Hey, listen. For the hot corner, we're in the process of building a new landing page for that. But if you want to get the hot corner, it is completely free. It goes out every single day. Email us. The email is on the screen. It's questions@stockmarketmedia.com. Just do me a solid so I know, and just put like hot corner in the subject so I know what the heck you're talking about. We get a lot of emails. So email us there and I'll get you on the list. And then when we have the new page, I'll actually share that page. But
Jaime Jaquez doesn't sound like a basketball player. Sounds maybe like a baseball
He's
player.
Good, man. Oh, man.
He is good.
He's so good.
Sports guys, calm down. We have a great time every Wednesday at 1:00. We do a Hot Corner live strategy session, which is basically my time to do state of the markets and riff on what I'm seeing. And then we dive into all the hottest insider activity of the week and charts that we want to be buying or that look good, that have experienced insider activity over the trailing 6 to 12 months. So that's a lot of fun. Come hang out and watch that.
Spencer, drop the link and give the people an opportunity to sign up for this hot corner.
Hey,
it's a great email every morning. I look forward to it. I get excited sometimes. I mean, I feel like rarely is there nothing interesting in there, right? I feel like there's like 4 out of 5 times, like there's something that pops out, whether it's Warren Buffett adding to a position or Carl Icahn filing a 13D or Nelson Powell or now these Dolan fellas buying $10 million worth of stock of Madison Square Garden. Like that stood out to me. I thought that was interesting. I'm not going to do anything about it, but I like to know.
No, you're right, JC. There's always something good. In fact, let's get the ZNTL chart up and just do some hot corner talk real quick. I might have it if you don't, Alfonso. But we had a question from Joe Gallagher, who is a fan of the hot corner and comes and watches all of our webinars. And he just pinged me on Twitter, and he's asking about this ZNTL, which was a hot corner name from last week. You and Sean talked about it.
That was the one. That was the one with the really, really big buy, right?
Yes.
Listen, monster buy.
Yeah.
And these guys have 3 drugs in phase 2, and I can't help but think that buy and that stake has something to do with one of those drugs and maybe some news that's coming. This base is shaping up really good. Joe asked a great question. He said, do I wait for your entry point or pounce now 28.75? Listen, in this kind of market, I'm not going to yell at you for jumping an entry, right? Because we know what these bases end up looking like more often than not, right? Because we have the past 2 quarters. We've been watching them resolve higher one after
Is
that.
there any event risk on the horizon, like one of these FDA situations?
They have a huge pipeline. I didn't go through every drug and check dates.
It's something to keep an eye on. Like this guy might think he knows a lot about what's happening, and he may or may not. But I with a name like this, it's $2 billion, so it's not like tiny. It's pretty small, but it's not tiny. It's not like a $150 million or $500 million stock where bad news and the thing's a zero. It's a little bit bigger than that, but still the event risk, be aware of the calendar is all I would say.
And I also think, when I read that question from Joe, I think, what if there is an event, right? And we gap out of this base and this stock's trade at 40, 50, right? And you're going to say, shit, I wish I bought it here at 28 and didn't wait till 32. So I get that. But there are other opportunities. If you want to jump it, you could jump it. I would still feel a lot better buying this one above 32. That's what I
agree. Me too.
If it goes, it goes, and you missed it. Bummer. There'll be another one, right?
All right, let's do chart report. I got an announcement to make with regards to that today, so let's talk about that. All right, first let's get it on the screen. Here is yesterday's edition of the chart report. I'll scroll to the very top, and then I will scroll down to the chart of the day, which we talked about. We talked about this yesterday on the show. The airlines. You guys have a thing against the Jets ETF, I think, for some reason.
Okay,
but
okay with it.
I just don't like the New York Jets. So, like, even buying an ETF with the ticker symbol Jets just bothers me.
Yeah, I like Benny and the Jets, though. I think there was a John Denver leaving on a jet plane reference in the chat earlier. That was good.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah. No, Jets is a fine ETF, Spencer. If anything, the problem we have with it is that these stocks are secular laggards. They're always weak. This short little bout of relative strength that we've experienced over the past month or so is a rare thing.
It's new. It's new, and I would throw that into the strength of the consumer discretionary. I understand airlines are industrial stocks, but to me, I'm grouping this with the strength we've seen in discretionary.
Yeah, 100%. It's consumer facing. It's travel. Yeah, I agree with you. And that's what me and Pat were talking about that yesterday. Discretionary and industrials, they become these catch-all sectors. They really do. Transports breaking out of a really nice base. They look really ready. If you look at XTN, DJT. Very similar structure to what you're seeing here in Jets. Also, the NYSE ARCA Airline Index, XAL, is a really good index and is worth looking at too.
Throw up Larry's chart. Larry Thompson comparing the S&P 500 and TLT.
2 shout-outs for Larry today.
2 shout-outs for Larry. You see what happens, Larry? Do you see what happens?
Yeah, you go, girl.
Look at that. So, as we always like to say, in strong bull markets and uptrends, these asset classes don't just do well on an absolute basis. They also tend to outperform their alternatives. A great alternative to the stock market is obviously bonds.
Yep.
And here's the stock market making new all-time highs relative to those bonds.
You know, we got to talk about the relative trend US versus ex-US also. There's some stuff moving there.
Well, are we going to do a what's moving there, Spencer? Why don't you tell the folks about your announcement, and then we'll do a little what's moving.
Yeah, I'm doing like 10 things at once here. I just dropped the link to sign up for the chart report in the chat. I'm going to pin it to the top of the chat right now. Free daily note that goes out every single day. But the announcement I wanted to make, where's my screen share? There it is. Right. Yes. Okay. We're doing a webinar tomorrow about the chart report. Not about the chart report per se, but about the new, bigger and better 2.0, this time it's personal chart report. Patrick Donawilla has been working his ass off on, and so is the rest of the team, on some new premium features that we have just started doing a couple weeks ago. And we're doing a webinar where he's going to explain all about what these premium scans are, how to use them, the ideas that come out from them, how you can use them in your trading. And it's going to be at 2 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow. I'm going to drop the link into the chat and I'm going to pin it to the chat right now, so it's at the top of the chat for the rest of the show. So 2 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow. I'll actually be there as well with Pat. It'll be Pat and myself, just ripping through these new premium scans we have and how they work and how you can use them, and it's good. It's gonna be really good stuff. So how did I do, JC?
I hate the word webinar. It sounds so nerdy. This is this is a serious event, guys. And
all right.
You know, Patrick's been working on this for a long time with this data. Shout out Grant, by the way. You know, Grant been working hard on this as well. This is all about idea flow. You know, if you're looking for a consistent flow of ideas, I know I certainly am. Strazza, a lot of people listening are here for idea flow. Whether you take advantage of every trade or not is up to you. But if you're looking for idea flow, this heat seeker that is finding the most talked about names, and not just like every day everyone's talking about Apple and Tesla. You know, it specifically measures the rate of change of increases in mentions, which I think is so unique because it's not the same names every time. Quite the opposite. We're going out of our way to find, you know, so for idea flow, it's big.
And it's all relative too. Like the way that we have kind of generated this tracker for investor interest is it's based on a moving average of the past. So we look at how much mentions it got this week, and then we benchmark it against like its average mentions over the trailing month or something, right? So works really well. It's a nice list. And guess what? We've seen overlap on the buzz with our scans. So I know it's good. As soon as I see that, I know it's good. We've seen a lot of overlap past few weeks.
Nice.
I'm trying to think of a good synonym that we can use instead. Idea session. I don't know.
It's an event. It's a live event.
Idea session. You managed to do worse than webinar.
Listen, you might have been doing webinars at Benzinga. Here we do live events. All right, this isn't Benzinga. All right.
Speaking of Benzinga, Nikki,
it's a powwow. It's a powwow, is what it is.
Something like that.
Something about Benzinga in the chat. Didn't we talk about Boise Cascade yesterday? ECC?
No, you said we did say we would do it today.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway,
can we?
Okay. The link to the webinar is in the chat. I'll be tweeting it throughout the day. If you don't follow us on Twitter, you should do that there at Stock Market TV. But yeah, 2 o'clock tomorrow. I'll mention it again on tomorrow's show as well, in case you forgot. Okay. What else did I have?
Webinar is like an intellectual comb over. Shout out, Jack. That's funny. That's funny. What is a terrible word, webinar? Like, what are you, a real estate agent? Like hosting a webinar?
I mean,
like,
I could think of some worse names. Like seminar is definitely worse than webinar, right?
I'll give you that one. Both are terrible words. Both are terrible words.
All right. Fine. We'll call it an event. That's what it is.
Live event.
Okay. 2 o'clock Eastern, myself and Patrick. All right. Back to the doc here. What else did I have to talk about? There was a few things. I know that a lot of tickers mentioned in the chat today. I wrote a couple of them down. It wasn't able to write all of them down, but I have a couple here. Let's see. We have we have some ratings. We have some street moves here. I wanted to hit on very quickly here. We had two of note. I think I removed our street moves bumper because we never used it. So I just, but I can add it back if we're going to start doing this again. We don't talk about these super often here,
I
but
also think we should start talking the tape more.
Yeah, because I don't give a shit if Morgan Stanley downgraded a stock this morning. Like,
Well,
it doesn't mean anything to me.
No, that's totally fine. But it provides an excuse to look at the chart if you haven't looked at this chart for a while. So this morning, for example, Pinterest, which was moving, it was at the top of my scans when I logged in this morning. When I always look at what's up and what's down, at 7 a.m. Pinterest was like near the top of my upscan this morning. They're catching an upgrade from Wells Fargo, and they're raising their price target to $34. This is a $26 stock, or at least it was. What is it now?
Let the base go first.
Do you use Pinterest? Spencer strikes me as someone who pins a lot. Do you pin
Yeah,
Pinterest?
No. The only time I was on Pinterest was when I had to be for a college class I was taking.
Huh.
Wow.
That was a long time ago. Pinterest was hot.
I was going to say,
Pinterest was hot. Long time. Yeah. These guys been around forever. Let the base complete, right?
Guys. Yeah. If you're buying Pinterest, I mean, you're probably not looking hard enough for ideas, I feel like.
I agree.
Like, this thing's terrible, right?
Breaking news. Be cool if we had a bumper, but sounds like people are interested in this Jerome Powell character in the chat. So let's just read out some quotes from Powell's speech right now. Policy has not been restrictive for very long. There's a strong majority for 2 more rate hikes in the dot plot. Policy may not be restrictive enough.
We know this.
As we get closer to the target, or as you get closer to the target, you're closer to a place where risks are more in balance. The way these guys talk. Wouldn't take moving at consecutive meetings off the table. So he's talking about there is a chance that they do a hike and then another hike at the very next meeting, is what he's saying here. Market action on Powell, strong U.S. dollar and 10-year yield.
There you go.
In the first 5 minutes. What did Charlie Dow teach us? Charlie Dow taught us that closing prices are the most important prices, my friend, not the prices 5 minutes after the market opens. Do I have that right?
Yeah, I guess stocks are selling a little bit on it, though. Silver and gold, too.
S&Ps are down 40 basis points, bro.
Look at gold.
Also,
nobody cares.
To mention,
JC, I don't care about anything.
What?
I
don't care about everything.
I don't care about anything.
The market doesn't care. Like, all of these things are like, okay, great. Like, Spencer's rolling his eyes. Like, we already knew all those things. And the market's doing the same thing. NASDAQ's down 34 basis points. The market is flat. The market does not give a damn about this Powell guy.
This is what I've noticed.
The chat gives a damn. That's why I'm doing it.
JC loves to talk about how he doesn't care about things. But then when you don't care, he'll make fun of you for not caring.
No, the market doesn't care. Don't you understand? The market doesn't care. The market cares about what's happening in France and Japan, by the way, there, Spencer, Israel. You might not. You definitely don't. But the market does, so I do. And the market doesn't care about what this Powell guy said this morning. So why should I care?
JC,
for the record, I wholeheartedly agree with you.
JC will call me at 2:30 on Fed Day. What'd this guy say?
Yeah, because I know that you're watching. So I was like, give me the 2-second rundown of what happened. You know?
Yeah. No, I'm with
you. Willie's good for that too. Call Willie Delwich. Be like, what, Willie? What did they say? You know,
it was real good. Jim Bianco, just like you said, like you got to talk to your friends out there, right? We have Fed experts, we have bond experts, we have currency experts. Go call your Fed expert, right? We got John Netto, Willie.
Shout out Netto. We got to bring Netto back on.
Netto's coming.
He cares about the Powell.
Netto's coming on the show on Friday to talk about a big thing happening on Friday. Big thing in his world, I should say.
Jobs?
No. We'll talk about it on Friday.
Tell you something. I do really appreciate the color that Netto brings to the table. You know what else I like about Netto is sort of the calendar, kind of just keep making me aware of certain events that, throughout my career, I might not have really been aware of as well as I probably should have.
Listen, I could spend the whole show talking to John Netto about this stuff. And he just has so much knowledge on all of these.
Why don't you save that for a day I'm not here, all right?
No, I'm going to save it for no day because there'll be nobody watching by the end of the show.
That's true. That's definitely true.
Privately.
I wanted to also mention Zoom Info, which caught it was an initiation today. It wasn't an upgrade, I believe. It was just an initiation from Needham at a buy, but they gave it a $35 price target. The stock is at 25 right now. so giving it a healthy premium there on the old PT. So ZI is the ticker on that, and I don't know if we got the chart. I think we do somewhere. Maybe we don't.
Zoom info. So this is Zoom, but not Zoom. Software.
Yeah, not even close. Zoom info is not. Zoom is a video conferencing.
$11 billion software from Canada, eh?
What do these guys do? They're a real.
Oh, I did not know they were Canadian.
Canadian.
Really? There's not
Vancouver.
There's not too many Canadian tech companies. That's
They
interesting.
have tech stocks in Canada. Who knew?
Well, they have Shopify, and that's
What do you
about
guys talk? Why are you guys hating on Canadian tech?
No. Nearly all the revenues.
It's not all rocks and natural resources, guys. They do other things too.
Nearly
Lululemon's Canadian.
It says here nearly all of Zoom Info's revenue is from the U.S., so they're a U.S. company, as far as I'm concerned. It's an enterprise SaaS platform. That's all you need to know. I think we have the chart.
Vancouver's a great town, by the way.
Oh God, here we go. I love
great sushi in Vancouver. They have great sushi in Vancouver.
New multi-month lows for gold.
That dollar, gold just does not like a strong dollar, huh?
Hates it.
Yeah, that makes sense, right? Nothing new. And the dollar's not even that strong. Just gold can't get going. I mean, it continues to struggle at these levels. I think ultimately it does break out. Got to see it though. Got to see it.
You know, JC, how honored are you that the Wall Street Journal, when they want comments about what the dollar means for risk assets, they call you and me?
You feel cool that the Wall Street? You feel cool that the Wall Street Journal's calling you?
No,
cool?
Really, they want to talk to you. Simon said he's like, I couldn't write an article about the dollar and what it means for stocks without talking to you guys. That's what he said to me. I was like, oh, that's awesome.
All right. Strazza's big time getting quoted in the Journal. Big time.
Been a few years.
Don't forget the little people here, Strazza. Don't forget us.
No, we had a great conversation. Talked for a while.
He's a good egg. Good egg. He's out in London.
Yeah, he's got a great read on what's going on over there in Europe too.
Nikki in the chat was asking about a website next week. In the back half of the week, I will. Next week in the back half of the week, I will share with you guys our new website. It's looking real nice. It's functional. You can go there now if you want, but not every page is finished yet. But that's why I want to wait a week, and then we'll walk through the site next week. It's looking spiffy as hell.
So spiffy as hell. Spiffy.
Yeah, stay tuned for that.
Spiffy.
And yeah, Steve won't be here for that because Steve is, of course, leaving on his epic Asia adventure on Tuesday. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, we're sending Steve Strazza and Sean McLaughlin on an 8-stop tour, all through 8 city 3 weeks, right? That's right. 8 city 3 week tour, where they're going to be speaking at conferences, meeting traders, and doing all sorts of weird things.
Careful what you eat. Don't be eating those fish balls on the streets in Manila, man. I'm telling you, you're gonna regret that.
Well, then how do I know what I can and can't eat?
I mean, depending on what country you're in, right? Like I think in Hong Kong and Singapore you'll be fine, but in some other, be careful. You know, you're not. This isn't Connecticut, all right? This is Bangkok. You know.
Do I get to call you guys?
Chime in on the show.
Definitely, we'll have you on the show. So you'll be 12 hours ahead of us. So it'll be, 9 p.m. Give or take your time. So yeah, definitely going to have you on the show, and Sean too, for that matter.
Can we do recess? I got something to say.
Yeah,
it's time. We talked enough stocks.
Wait, Caesar is reminding me that I still haven't talked about the random stock I bought. You're right, Caesar. I haven't gotten. Maybe I'll save it for. I don't know. Recess. I'm saving it for a specific reason, though. You know what I mean? So, I don't want to, because the catalyst hasn't happened yet. I kind of want to wait for the catalyst to happen, and then either I'll be very right or very wrong.
Someone's not reading the All-Star Charts research.
All right, we'll do some recess here, and then
hit it.
I'll keep an eye on the chat for questions.
It's not all about making money, guys. It's also about how to spend the money, right? And the left bank of Bordeaux is just making some superb juice, right? You like Cabernet Sauvignon. You want to be drinking left bank Bordeaux. I have been on some kick, I was drinking way too much Italian wine. Like I was just like, gung ho. I'm having steak, I'm drinking Italian wine. I got a veal parm, I'm drinking Italian wine. I'm eating fish, I'm drinking Italian. It's too much. It's too much. There are other countries in the world. Spencer might not care about these countries, but I do. France, it makes an excellent wine. Left bank of Bordeaux, Cabernet Sauvignon. It's a gravel soil. In the right bank, you're going to get a lot more Merlot and Cab Franc. On the left bank, it's going to be more strict on the Cabernet Sauvignon. Drink that left bank Bordeaux. Eat your steak, whether it's a ribeye, a strip, a filet mignon. You could still go left bank Bordeaux. Order the Magnum. Go big or go home. Left bank Bordeaux for the win.
What do you think, Spencer?
I've been drinking a lot of wine the last week, but I couldn't tell you what kind it was. It was a lot of Sauvignon Blanc and that type of stuff. But
Sauvignon Blanc also from Bordeaux.
Yep.
A lot of Sauvignon Blanc down in Bordeaux.
Yep,
and the Loire, but Bordeaux too.
All right. My recess is season 2 of The Bear is Chef's Kiss. Fantastic show on Hulu.
Yeah,
The Bear?
People
The
like
Bear.
I'm hearing a lot of good
Yeah.
stuff about this. It's like that's the new
It's
show.
it's on Hulu. It's super easy. They're 25-minute episodes. They're and it's fantastic. That's my recess. Yes. For Frey Lee, we do have this BCC chart. Can we get the BCC chart up on the screen? Because we did mention that yesterday. We said we'd talk about it today.
Casey, if you want to run through it, I'm just pulling up another chart to speak to it.
This thing is an absolute beast, and you could even zoom out further. This thing is an absolute beast. I will give you a longer term chart here. This thing continues to bump up against overhead supply, but take a look at the longer term chart. This is the short term chart, and then I'll just throw it in right here. Go ahead and check out this slide 2 here. Take a look at this. Just longer term, this thing is an absolute beast. So it's a consolidation within an ongoing uptrend, and you could throw up the other chart just so you could see what that looks like now. Wow. Really, really impressive. This is a building materials out of Boise, in case that didn't give it away. $3.5 billion market capitalization. We start getting a breakout above 85. This one, I'm going to be all over this one.
Throw up this chart on slide 1 now. This is why I really like it. Oh,
breaking out at 4% today. I think you buy this breakout. I like this name. I think you buy this breakout right here, right now.
It won't let me put my chart in the deck. I dropped it in the chat. Fonz, if you could add it. Look at the relative trend here. Monster 10-year base breakout. Looks like it's coming any day now relative to the S&P 500.
Yeah, look at this thing. Huge base.
Really
interesting.
Love to see that confirmation from the relative trend. Hey,
this is another great example of don't let the large cap, mega cap stock sort of allow you to miss opportunities when you go down the cap scale. While materials in general might not look great, this particular one does, right? Yep. And you're going to find opportunities when you go down the cap scale that are not so correlated with the overall space. And this is just BCC, great example, man. New all-time highs today.
I would expect more of these stocks to start working or keep working in the case of some of them. This is really like building materials play, right? It's home builders. It's like these building stocks we've been talking about. So, and also it's breaking out today. There's some sort of news here. It's up 3.5%, making new all-time highs today. Truist Securities upgrades Boise Cascade to buy from hold.
Which securities? Who?
Truist. The largest regional bank in the country.
Never heard of them.
There should be a rule.
If
you're about to go bankrupt and your chart looks as bad as it does, should you really be out here analyzing other people?
You guys know this Truist? You've heard of this Truist bank?
Come on, Truist is not going bankrupt. What are you talking about?
It used to be something else.
What's the ticker symbol of this Truist?
No.
What's the ticker symbol?
Truist bought SunTrust.
Yeah, it used to be SunTrust, right? JC.
TFC? Wow, this is a $40 billion market cap. Wow.
Huh?
All right. My bad. I don't know every company.
All right, hey, real fast. Parabolic stock of the day is Joby Aviation. JOBY. You don't know how you don't know how big of a moonshot stocks like Joby are.
Good.
It's going parabolic. Why? Because they got a permit for testing. That is what the news is today. Not because they sold anything or they even made anything.
No.
They got a permit to test the thing.
Listen,
That's what's happening today.
This could be a hit. They might have something here.
Oh my goodness.
These aviation names, remember the Mexican airlines and stuff like that? Shout out Mexico.
It's not even, this is different. I think these guys could really be onto something. Flying is a nightmare. It's a really, really terrible experience for the consumer. And these guys are trying to change that for short flights. I'm super bullish, and I hope what they're working on works out. I would love to take a helicopter from here to Miami. Makes a lot of sense to me.
I just want to finish up on the Disney. I brought up the Disney. It's just interesting. I haven't bought it. I don't know that I am. I threw it out on Twitter because I like to get sentiment, data and kind of get things from perspective. And I got to tell you, I mean, the tweets that I'm getting about their wokeness and whatnot, like people are very angry about this one. I like that. I really do. It's kind of like that Palantir situation, you know, very polarizing sort of name. Who knew that Disney would be one of those? But
hold on. JC, like what's the read on that? Is that really bad sentiment or is it just politics? Right?
It's both, but it's both. It's like people, right? But regardless of whether it's politics or it doesn't matter what it is, it's the fact that people are angry at the company and not buying the stock because of that gives me more reason to buy the stock.
Their movies are also just flopping left and right.
I don't know about any of that, but we're down near support. I'm thinking about it. Sean, are you listening? Are we getting any action on these puts? Can we sell some put? We're probably not getting any diddly on that. I'll talk to Sean about it. We'll update tomorrow on the show. Oh, we have our meeting in a couple hours or in an hour. All right, we'll talk about it then.
We do. Stay tuned on the channel today, guys. 11:30. What the Fick? Myself and Ian Cully. 1 o'clock. Steve Strazza is doing the hot corner, and then options trade of the week at 3 o'clock. JC and Sean. For that is our show for the day. Thanks to our guest, Brett Conrad and Kimmy Sokoloff. Thank you in the chat for all your participation. If you want to hit that thumbs up, we have 41 likes. Can we get to 50 likes? Actually, can we get to like 100 likes in the next 30 seconds? That'd be good. I would like that very much. That's a wrap. Everyone have a great rest of your day. Happy trading. Make some money. We'll see you later.
Adios.
Peace.
How do I even end the show? I can't find the thing.
Press the button.
What the fuck?
Run it. I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. I hit the ground, then it go off.